Welcome to the show. Creative Universe Checkpoint Earth presents Polanity or Christianity in the series of Divine Mother and Me. As a teacher, I stand for and do the work of Divine Mother on Earth, being her priestess of union. This makes it possible to provide you with a relationship in which you can safely find your true union and develop and sustain your union consciousness. Today on the show, we have Polanity or Christianity because, you know, there is a side, not the whole, a side of my work that has something to do with Christianity and what's more, maybe more core to it with Christ consciousness, because that is actually the same as union consciousness, and you want twin flame union, which is union consciousness, so it has to do with something about Christ consciousness. And then, it is true that there is this whole religion created around the spirituality of Christ consciousness, and it's also very well known. And in our Western culture, we actually live in a huge, let's say, Christianized culture. So it is not strange that there is an aspect there that is touched. And in my work particularly, I think that is an entrance through which you can reach some core of what it is all about, indeed. And not that maybe is the central main part, because I stand for myself, but I have come to the true twin flame teacher and guiding people to that, which has been done by me successfully 4 times, has been implemented for me, so to speak, my ability to do that for you via the new Christ family masters, Christ soul family masters that are on earth right now. And they're all about rolling out this consciousness state that twin flames are all about. That is harmonious twin flame union consciousness state, right? So, and this has been a chapter in my life where that was some sort of bolted onto me, and it was like a mutual exchange and check out that we're talking about the same processes and procedures to come to the same result. And that's amazing. And of course, there is so much to be said about that. For a reason, I'm writing a book about that as we speak. But also, like, here and there, it is like a topic in what I can say that is important, that is also interesting. And today we're going to bring something a little further because it's so interesting at the very least, but maybe we even get a lot more out of it. And I'm just as curious as you are at this point, because the central point, the central question is going to be like, but what is Christianity then? And is it even legit? Like, did Christianity even come from like Jesus, and then he died and whatnot, and then his students created something, or out of what the students created something grew, or however you need to say it, or what can say it, or what have you. Christianity, something we call Christianity, grew out of. And is that still from Jesus, or is it actually very much different? Or does it actually need to be updated for today's possibility to have your twin flame early in your spiritual journey, so that you can walk the rest of it together and be very happy while doing so, because you are together in the consciousness state of harmony, of harmonious twin flame union. Well, I think that's already a good indication that is a yes, that an update is needed. But there's also like another point of view or something that has been coming to my attention as of late, and I myself actually wanted to know more about it, and that's the Paul question. I have been playing around with this idea for like 7 years or so, and I also had like wrong ideas, but that's okay, because I was still transforming in the right kind of direction. And now it seems like the core question is more or less like, wasn't it Paul that actually brought maybe the most ideas spiritual ideas in that actually transformed into what we now know as Christianity, and like going to the Christian church on Sunday and whatnot. There is a whole bunch of the New Testament in the Bible that is actually contributed to Paul as the author, but not exactly, scientifically speaking, all the letters that he wrote to the different parts of the church at the beginning of, well, the first century. How do they say that? CE? Not BC, that's before Christ. After Christ. After Christ. Well, there you go. Because these letters are well known, and they form parts of what we call the New Testament in the Bible, but not all of them are contributed to Paul anyway. But you sort of see there that he had a big influence, and these books are just very influential to what people have conceived as Christianity. Isn't it that his thing actually became Christianity? And what does that mean? What does that mean? Does that make Christianity like valid and also like fit for twin flames, or does it make it more invalid? Or who is Paul anyways, and is he important? Well, here we go. Early this calendar year of 2025, well, wouldn't you know it, he came to me. Let's not, let this linger any longer before I say it. He just came to me in spirit, apparently. Like, I wasn't asking for this shit, man. I was like, well, I just feel like I'm in the presence of Paul. And it just felt as though he started to connect with me personally and also help me personally. Yeah, in what? In my, also like in my mission for Twin Flames, right? To create twin flame unions for all of us, because that's what I do. So what does someone come to me for? Well, it's to aid me in that personal and professional journey, which is also for you. So that stood out to me as well. Like, oh my gosh, like he really is someone. And I started to change my mind on this guy a little bit. He seemed like a very stern, maybe even boring guy to me. I don't know. I had no ideas really about him, although I think I felt him spiritually, especially since the last 5 years, since I made a journey to Divine Mother, a pilgrimage to Divine Mother. And there were moments there that I felt him too. I see now, looking back specifically as well. Now it was very clear, actually, So yeah, I guess he was not boring, but I just didn't really understand it yet. And now I start to see much more. Okay, so Paul, he was actually a mystic. He was a Jewish mystic. And what he saw in the inner world, he tried to put out in letters to say something in the outer world, to people in the outer world. And that's still in our Bibles today. And this mystical experience, maybe it says something for us twin flames as well, because mystical experiences point towards a mystical inner union with the divine. And wouldn't you know it, on that journey, everyone gets to know their twin flame right there. In whatever form, always. So that, of course, has everything to do with each other. I think these are sort of kind of the rough lines of what he's starting to show me since this year, this calendar year, 2025. And I guess we're just going to find out more today about what there is. What is there to say? And I prepared a whole bunch of oracle decks on my desk here, and I will try to let him guide my gaze and what I'm going to pick, and then what kind of card comes out, and then what we're going to talk about, and see what that gives. So we're inviting Paul, if you're there, to be with us while we find out more what the message is. And if it is Paulinity or Christianity, and what that has to do with union with the divine in which you meet your twin flame, and what your experiences have to do with us today or me today. So I already saw where he wants to start, so let's go there. So again, I never know what's going to happen. So this is the Divine Abundance deck. Oh, I feel as though we're already here. I pre-shuffled them, of course, and then I shuffled them some more for you while we're online. So gratitude. Fill me with gratitude for all you give. May I be a vehicle for you wherever I go. All right. Well, I think that's how you are filled up with the blessings of life and also of Twin Flames blessings by being grateful, so that you can become a vehicle for the divine. And that's what Paul did. Let's say a little bit more about that. But it also, I just want to add that it also feels as though Paul is grateful that we're doing this. Okay, so I guess so then, right? But he opened himself to be a vessel, a vehicle for the divine. But actually also he didn't even do it. It sort of befell him. And that's what Paul is famous for. The story is in the Bible. The story is well known under the name of the Road to Damascus, I think. Because he was actually a force against Jesus, against the first Christians. That is to say, the people that followed Jesus, that followed this new guy in town that was speaking the word of God. And, you know, that was very controversial what Jesus did, go to the temples and preach his now experiences instead of the traditional, well, let's say the Bible of their time. So that's that's also controversial about what we do now, what people do now, talking about twin flames, while people think that their idea of spirituality is already established. So that's very controversial, that's very fresh, it's very new, and people sometimes don't really accept that. Well, Paul in the beginning did not accept it. And he was like, well, I'm a Jewish mystic, so I know what the existing Bible, the Torah, is about, right? I know it from the inside out. So it can be that you're this new guy in town and you're like talking and whatnot, but I mean, I already know what the Bible truly is about. So come on, or something, you know? And he was just trying to say no to that new thing. He genuinely was. And he was very fervent and very, you know, he was like he stood up for what he believed in, which is like, let's say, a characteristic of someone that is very fiery, and it can be very helpful. And I just have this feeling that we need to have this one too. So, okay, we'll look better at it in a second. That was actually the one that was up front. Anyway, next card. So he was very fired up, but like against Jesus. But then when he one day was on the road to Damascus, they were like traveling, he was overcome by a vision of Jesus, that he was the Christ, the Son of God, and that it was real. And then he just literally fell on the floor and he literally became blind, because he was so blind before, and now he felt it physically. And that's a famous story, and it is where Paul had a change of heart, and he needed to heal from his blindness, which happened when he accepted that Jesus actually did tell the truth. And he started to put his fieriness underneath spreading the gospel of Jesus instead. And then he was like the most fiery person that did that of all, you know, and that's why his stuff got in the Bible so elaborately, and his ideas. pretty much became a huge factor in how Christianity formed itself in the centuries after. So that's his general story. So there is something about that story that he showed me that it's, in a sense, it looks like what I went through in the twin flame sense, because I did also get a vision while I was on a journey, and I did fall to the floor, but I could sort of manage to sort of say to my companion, listen, I need to sit down, and we just could make some steps before we sat down on a proper bench and whatnot. But I was like, oh gosh, I was completely in another world, because the reality of like the molecules of the air and of the city and whatnot, they just opened up. I was blinded for the normal world where I was, the bustling city, and this vision came to me, and the Christ visited me. So, and lately, I mean, this has happened already some years ago, quite some years ago by now, and I processed that completely. But like, Paul has been recently showing me that it actually looks like the same sort of experience. This for me also changed everything in my life, because I couldn't help it. Everything got turned around. And I was able to bring twin flames together ever since. First myself, but then also like all the other people, like even almost against my will, you could say, because it just started happening. Right. So Paul showed me that brings us together, actually, that we have a similar experience in that sense. And what I also like about his story is that it is about that your human sense of what you have to offer, like his fieriness and his fighting and whatnot, needed to become aligned with the right sort of now entrance to the source of union with the divine, which was Jesus Christ. And when that became aligned, he became very powerful. And what he had to offer became very powerful. Not that maybe before his like mysticism was I think his mysticism before, his Jewish mysticism wasn't completely invalid or something, but it wasn't aligned with the now like Jesus taught. That it's really alive, and it is like on a new level and whatnot. And when that happened, he became like unstoppable in a very, very new way. Now, what also set him apart was that he considered himself an apostle, like a follower of Christ, but he didn't physically meet Jesus like the other apostles, which also set him really apart. Now, my Road of Damascus experience was actually on a trip where I did meet the Christ Masters. So that's not entirely the same. But I ended up not working directly for the Christ Masters, but stand alone, which does make it the same kind of feel as what Paul went through. It is really a huge thing to talk about yourself and sort of compare yourself to Paul. Don't think I take that lightly, or I do that easily. Not at all. This is just something that has ripened in me for almost a decade by now. And even doing this reading was 7 months of ripening in my heart. So there we go. So the other card that came out that I was like, we need to have that too. That's this one. That was sanctity. Through offering, even the most mundane problem can become a sacrament. sanctity. Well, that has everything to do with like some aspects of what we talked about, like how can a normal person change of heart? How can a normal journey moment, a moment of in your journey become something that is so imprinting on you in a divine way that it is really this it makes the mundane beyond sacred. That's what happened to Paul. That's what happened to me as well. The most mundane problem can become a sacrament. I think that Paul also went to this state of being afterwards, in which, I mean, he just lived his life. He just walked around, and he also went to prison and whatnot, and he had an assistant, and he wrote letters to like collectives of first Christians that lived in some cities, not too far away. But it was really like in the moment, you know, what Christ, what Jesus taught him, like be in the moment, and the sacredness, the sanctity is in the moment. It's present now, not only in mystic experiences, it's always in the now. And the now is like the entrance of it. Everything became sacred. Everything became sacred. So yeah, maybe he's also saying, like, on a much more, let's say, twin flame daily life experience level, that through all these stories, maybe we're saying that, you know, you can make very deep meditations about your twin flame, and they can be true and whatnot, or at least partly true. And that can be like such a mystical moment and whatnot, and that can be very beautiful. But at the end of the day, only when you align yourself in your daily life, in the now, with that deeper sanctity of life itself, that's where you'll live with your actual true twin flame in harmonious union, in the relationship that you want. That's like an everyday relationship. That's like you just walk around, do your thing, and day two, and you just do that under one roof because you like that, or you do that in a married state officially because that feels that it fits with that, and that's just very normal. So it needs to be connected to that now moment that we call Christ consciousness, actually. So that's where it becomes easy for twin flames to live that. Now, actually, it is helpful to have someone like Paul, because then we can say, well, Paul, I believe you, so what you say, we try to understand you as best as we can from your writings, and maybe translate it to that we live in another time of culture right now, but then still, and then we can say, well, at least if we believe you, we get at least already closer to what it is to live in that Christ consciousness moment that makes it easier to be with your twin flame. And it's actually the only place where you do live with your twin flame. And this is the time in which we live now in 2025, where you can live that much more easily with your twin flame together early in the journey, if you choose it. And it becomes available for all of us. But maybe you need your kind of Paul to have like a grasp, to relate to Paul, so that you can get into what that means a lot better and quicker and much more easy, and stick with it, so that you can be in harmony with your twin flame, and it won't walk away anymore, and it will just be, well, what you desire of it. So okay, so this is the deck of Mother Mary, which of course is the mother of Jesus, and Paul has everything to do about that. So let's see, I think this one, Our Lady of passion. Well, I think we talked about a whole couple of things, and I think a lot of passion speaks out of these stories, right? A whole lot of passion. I am going to see what the booklet says about it. 9. Oh, almost there. And there we are. I know the secret fire that burns in your heart. Even if you cannot remember it deep within, you will yearn for its excitement, energy, and direction. I bring you a gift of awakening to that passion within, a gift of remembering your purpose, a gift of energy, direction, and endless divine support to manifest your passionate purpose in this lifetime. Dare to dream of your fulfillment, beloved. I bring you the resources you need to succeed, so that all of this planet may benefit from your heart on fire with divine, passionate purpose. I think it does speak a lot about that whole fiery passion that Paul has, and that is being deepened and focused and corrected in when you connect it with Christ consciousness, which is union consciousness, which is the union consciousness that, if you connect with it, makes your twin flame union easy. So yeah, that's really giving an emphasis on that aspect. And that it talks about a purpose. So that's a good one, because twin flames coming together, they come together for a purpose. They do. And it is inside this Christ consciousness. And it is about being so fiery about that you spread whatever that means to your union. And that is also why you come together. And you will also automatically start to pass that on and spread that light and that passion when you do come together. So take that into account already when you're in the journey towards it, when you are on your way to making it come true. It's all about purpose. And if you don't want that, then, well, this journey is not for you. Because that is actually the secret supporting element that you can use to make it to a success. Knowing and executing that it is for a purpose, and that you already prepare for that purpose, that you already start to sense what that is about. That helps you come into the harmonious union with your true twin flame that you really desire. And that's what I've been saying for some years now. Practically speaking, in my school, I call it, you start to do your mission. So that's maybe just a word that is taking it a little bit more to a practical degree. And I even make it much more practical there, because I even teach how to erect your own business to support yourself doing that. So, and these are all things that I can also, in a very detailed way, teach you. So to just give hands and feet to that spiritual purpose that is really about. All right, so let's have a look in the Oracle of the Roses. Okay. And we have the Blessed One. Answer the call, leadership, your own power, gifts for the soul. So this Blessed One, right, there is this woman there. Yeah, it is being called into your leadership. That's actually exactly what we're talking about. And you are the Blessed One, just like Paul got to understand that he was the Blessed One, that had something to offer and needed to give it. Just like I realized that, and that's why I make videos for you, because it's really not easy to stand up for you right here and make these videos and make these posts and create these offerings that help you and execute the real coaching that you need. It's really difficult to stand up for all of this. It's not easy, okay? You get criticism, all kinds of things happen that are like trying to sabotage you. It's really difficult. Anyway, who cares? You don't care as long as you get your union. And you're right. So try to get your union indeed and make work out of that. I'm just saying, another aspect that may be just interesting to know. And but yeah, make work out of it, get your union. That's what we're about here, right? Tomorrow I have a day in which we can talk about that. By the way, it's like Sunday the 27th of July, and I have still some time slots. So there is a link underneath this video or in a pinned comment, and then you can go into my schedule and claim a time slot. We can talk about your desire to go to your union and how I can help you with that. And that is because the door closes on a huge opportunity real soon, in 2 weeks at this moment, to come into the group course where we will make that possible for you. So yeah, do it. I'd love to help you, So let's have a look in the life purpose deck, because we were still talking about life purpose. And the people that come to the group, I will also guide them towards their life purpose. This is one of the things I will guide you to. I will guide you to the consciousness state of harmonious twin flame union. You will be with your true twin flame, and I will also guide you to your purpose and to your mission and to building it. And that's an important ingredient as well. And it's so inspirational. And yeah, what did I want to say about that? Yeah, I will also give these people that come in the group now the opportunity to later on become creation coaches. That is to say, coach people to their harmonious twin flame union as well, together with me. So that is like an additional thing that you can later on specialize in that through the course, and then make that come true for yourself, which is an awesome way to also start to make money for yourself. So that's the future if you step in now. So this is a life purpose deck, and it says in my mother tongue Dutch, I will translate it for you: protection. You are safe and are supported while you change your job or your mission or your activities. All right. Isn't that awesome? You are protected while these changes come. Angels protect you. Angels protect your mission with your twin flame. It is a sacred thing that happens there. It can't be anything else than divinely protected. So that's also the beauty of your of your mission, of following that, of taking that seriously, that it will be divinely guided and divinely protected. It can't miss its goal. All right. So the angel answers. There is something better for you ahead when you follow this nudge. You don't do it in vain, following these nudges, following these ideas that there is a passionate mission for you out there. The psychological insight cards. My life is not perfect, but I have so much to be grateful for. Well, the gratitude card was what we started with. So be grateful for what there is now, for what you have now, for what you created in front of you now, and you will, well, have a foundation. Because if you're not grateful, there's no foundation. You always should be very grateful for what you have now. Then the next thing can come. You see, in the spiritual insight cards, I don't need to become different. I just need to remember who I truly am. That's the transformation that is before us. Well, these cards were very literal. Beautiful. And now we're going to go to the Egyptian cards. Pharaoh, a king or queen with a godlike status. Use your leadership qualities in a clear way. Your wisdom will be seen and heard. I'm a multidimensional being, is the affirmation you could say to yourself here. And I am one with heaven and earth. All right, let's see. Oh, maybe we take this one first? Yeah, we do. I have a new card deck. I'm just thinking about making a special video only about these. I think that's really awesome. Let me know if you want me to do that. We'll see if I can actually execute it. It is the Isis Oracle, so I'm just going to see just very much a divine motherly figure, but then from the Egyptian culture. The temple of lapis lazuli, the kind of crystal stone that you see here, the blue one, with the golden speckles and symbols here as well. The goddess of the age-old heavens. Divine Mother's wisdom is in the blue background of the universe with gold speckled stars. The goddess of the age-old heavens. I'm going to have a look in the booklet, if I can find it. Here it is. To see what it says. 39. Your soul is ages old, dear student, and does not only give messages from Earth, it has also a lot of wisdom from star people of cultures far away and closer by, with a unique consciousness in a high frequency that humanity can help humanity to transition into a culture from a culture based on fear to one based on love. You are being guided to the deeper acceptance of your inner knowing about your role in this. All right. We need to transition to a culture about love, based on love instead of based on fear. And that is why we have this leadership as the divine feminine or the divine masculine, whatever you are in your union, representing your union. And your union is the blueprint on which that new society needs to be built. And that's very serious. That's just, that's what we need to do now. Just as in Paul's time, they needed to ground you in the idea that you were a child of God, but they were not yet sort of developed enough to, well, let's get these two from the tarot, which is like the medieval images tarot. That is not like we weren't there yet to be able to grasp that concept that we're not only children of God, but as such that we are the representation of our union and will attract our complementary part when we step into that, being a child of God and having that purpose, which translates into a mission. But now we do. That's like the new chapter where we are now. So it is similar, but in a new time with a new expansion point. So that's why we need you to give shape to that expansion point. And that'll be justice. Well, this angel shows us that that'll be justice, right? All these angels carrying the instruments of justice. It's as if they're all forming parts of one big justice, just the one big angel, carrying the how do you scales? Oh, of course, that's called scales. The scales of justice, and you see like a sort of a devil on one side and like the angel on the other side. And that process needs to be taking place with your help. The Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Coins. Well, that's a very earthy, abundant female power that is very loving and like busy with daily life activities that she loves, that she has a passion for. Very loving, passionate, practical, abundant woman that is part of her community, part of her union, the mother of whomever she's mother of and whatever she's a mother of, that knows what she's doing, a great power in her environment. That is the Queen of Pentacles. So I guess that's you. That's who you need to be in that role, in that mission. And that's, I guess, why like Paul comes through to say like, that's where you need to go. Just like when I was at the earth and we did all this stuff and I had this vision and I stood for it so that Christianity could grow to what it is and people could understand that they were the children of God while sitting in the earth, while reading the letters that I wrote to them in the Bible. And now you need to do something similar, but you need to like bring people to the notion that they're part of their union as children of God and that the union is the child of God and that inside the union you have your complement. For the very, 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 very most people, that is two complementary parts in one union. And that is how you're supposed to live. And that's like the new leading edge of what you should become conscious of at this time in history. And that's, if you will, like the new Christianity or like the new Polanity or the new religion or the new whatever you call it, you know. If you don't want to call in religious terms, that's fine too. It's like the new consciousness field that you need to inhabit, and you're supported in doing that. Okay, I saw a new card deck. Like new in the sense that I need to get it, and that is the transformation cards. And they're like full of mythological scenes and whatnot. So let's see. I see this one. So let's get it. And it is Kitsune, and that is a Japanese woman. She's like a wolf woman, right? Yeah, she's sort of a wolf woman, and she has this wolf or like dog. And she shows you who you can trust. That's her specialty. That's like the core of her Japanese story and mythology. And that is really so this is really the core of what this whole story means indeed. So let's take that seriously. She is around you at this time, showing you who you can trust. So can you trust the message that I brought you? Can you trust the message of Saint Paul that is helping me come forward with this message? Can you trust that? And who can you trust with that? Because not everyone is really in this story. It sounds like, oh, that's a beautiful universal mission. Many people might meditate and feel that they're part of that and then talk about it on YouTube. Maybe. But also not really. You need to ask yourself who you can trust. Really. Because there are very many that are not of this kind, not of this central awakening that I'm talking about. Or they some sort of heard about it, or they some sort of agree with this general idea that might be out already for some years. I understand that. But agreeing with it is something very different than being sent by the divine itself with the full capacity to transform people into what they're actually looking for. You see, that's often already, there could be so much more said about it, but that's often already so much more than what you heard of. People agreeing with an idea and regurgitating ideas around it and making up stories around it, maybe sometimes presenting themselves with someone sitting next to them that they think or hope is their twin flame, which might not be true at all. So, this is really, it's a contentious point, like in my own unfoldment of being a teacher myself, because it is so deeply sad and frustrating for me as a teacher to see that, well, you guys are falling for all kinds of things all the time. Some people even spend hundreds of dollars or euros or thousands of them, and you bring them to all kinds of places where you simply can't be helped because these people can't help you, but you don't know that. You just think that maybe they're very nice people or something. I don't know. It's just very frustrating. And I still really don't really know, how to deal with that. It's like this ever again occurring question, like how to deal with that. Like, I don't know, it's just very sad. Anyway, let's try to get away from this question, Kitsune. Well, show us, Kitsune, who we can trust, show us. And well, I say we because I have experienced all these things in my journey myself, but for me, since like a handful of years and more, it's all about you guys, right? Passing on what I already did for myself, and then all these same questions come up for you that I worked myself through. And anyway, so let's have a look in the card deck of Mary Magdalene, because why not? Small children. That's cute. And these are some sort of water lilies in a very passionately colored pond, I think, right? With red and purple and whatnot. Small children. Well, there is a small child in you, and you can give it everything it needs. Take care of your inner child on the journey. And we're all small children of God. So I think that also gives a direction to, like, how can we discern, right? How can we discern? And again, I say we because I always know exactly what that is like if I am in your shoes, because I have gone through all these developments myself years earlier. So anyway, you are a child of God. And by calling upon that, you can find the answers that you're longing for. Always be, again, step into your power as a child of God. Always step into that humility, actually, that it also has with it. And then God knows. God knows what you need to do. So there you go. Just having a small look into the booklet of that card deck. Oh, it's also really about, expressing yourself as though you're really a child, and be free in that, and finding your enthusiasm. That's always freeing. Yeah. Because that is all going to happen to you when you can be humble as a child of God. And that's also how you find the answer where you should turn. Okay. Let's get this one. So this is the what is it called? Vampire deck. It just seems as though, I think we want that one. It seems as though Paul just let us into this freshly told story about essential things for twin flames. That's interesting, because I really didn't really know what we were going to get when we would be talking about Paul, but there we are. The monster in us. Okay, inner tension, personal challenges, wanting to become better. All right, all right. Yeah, because when you start to sort of dig up your own inner child and start to accept that you are a child of God, you'll also find your shadow side, so to speak, right? You can't do it without that. And this whole deck is about that, because it's about the vampires. But very poignantly here, the monster inside of you. And that's how it always works. And that's what you need to purify for your next step. And this one was also like moving out this card out of the deck. So we're just going to look at that one too. Discipline, exercise, consistency, implementing things. Okay. Right. Well, you do have to truly implement what we're talking about. That's true as well. You were not, it's like playing a musical instrument. You need to exercise every day. And that's also what we do on the twin flame journey with like becoming a child of God. But then with what Paul says within the notion of knowing that that the union is the child of God, and you are part of the union, and you have another expression inside of that is your twin flame, and you can be together as long as you accept that you're a child of God, and that there you will find your true expression of yourself, and you'll also meet your, let's say, your shadow, and you need to do your twin flame inner work there. And that means that you need to do that every day, so that darker side can purify. That's the whole point. And you need to do that with the actual twin flame inner work, and not with something else, in the embrace of a true teacher, with a real community. And then you're doing the right thing, you're moving in the right direction. And you need to do that with a discipline. And that is actually, that is, in a nutshell, the formula through which you will get your union. You just commit to the correct inner work with the right circumstances and aid around that. And you keep on committing to it, and you never veer off of it. And then your twin flame will come to you and stick with you. That's the whole point. And you keep on doing exactly that. So you need to have discipline. That's the whole formula in a nutshell. Genuinely. That's in a nutshell what you need to do to have your twin flame now, to be the receiver of that promise of this new time. It's as if we have a new covenant with God. Is that true, Paul? Well, I mean, why else would he make me say that now? So I guess that's the point. That's a big thing to talk about. It's also very serious. I don't make these kinds of videos just because I have nothing to do or something. It is a huge responsibility to be able to bring you these kinds of ideas. Huge responsibility. Because big things happen in the presence of true teaching. And you need to be prepared. You need to know how to deal with that. All right. But, maybe that one was clearly, this one was, okay, this one at least. Maybe like Dragon Fae can help us. This one was moving. Dragon Fae, goddess Tiamat. Well, that's sort of she is sort of like a primordial, like water snake dragon, and nowadays we think in the Bible when it talks about things like that and creatures like that, ooh, that's the devil and whatnot. But I mean, I think we could have like whole episodes of other 1 hour long readings and whatnot, talking about all the misunderstandings about the devil and about Satan and about all these names and all these, ooh, bad, ooh, so dark, ooh, I'm so scared. And, we could talk a lot about all the misunderstandings about all of that. But maybe to say it very short, you've got to understand it like this. There's no true divine power behind everything when there isn't a play of so-called white and black in the world. And we need to have some sort of black people in the stories of people to have the stories be of the power that they can bring you to the true divine power behind it all. Right? All right. So the dragon Fae goddess Tiamat, you are stronger than you think. Oh, I think that's a good message to hear with that one, with this story. Yeah, 15 card 15. Okay. Shall I look inside the booklet for a moment? I guess. Where is it then? Didn't I get it out? Oh, here it is. 15. Well, we're building something now that is for generations to come. You will be cleansed and purified and born again. Never underestimate your own power. Just start to build again. And that's also a twin flame secret, that you can choose again. So you maybe unconsciously chose earlier in your life or as a soul in the soul's life. And this is the result you got. You got, well, a false twin flame or no twin flame or a twin flame that walked away or whatever your situation is where you're stuck at. And here's the point. You can choose again. Because your earlier choices in life apparently brought you this. Now you're going to choose again. And that'll give the real results that you're wanting. Yeah, so these are all the secrets the secrets of twin flame work. So it should be easy, you know, because I actually give it away all the time completely. But here's the thing, and I know this very well. Twin flame work is not a theory. It's not a video. It's not a video as well. You need to do the real thing. You need to do it. It's something you need to execute and like dive deep in. And only then it will work out for you. When you allow yourself to undergo it. And that's my work behind the screen to guide you through that. So there you go. I don't see any cards anymore. So this was really like to go out with a very powerful oomph. And yeah, that was actually surprising. Thank you very much, Paul, for guiding us in it. So is it Paulinity or Christianity? I think Paul is like a powerful person that has taken on the early Christian influence and translated it in a powerful way so that so many generations of people could understand what it was about. And I think that he also tries to tell me that I am a sort of a Paul when it is about twin flame update of Christ consciousness that we live in now. And I need to play a role that looks like that. So that's the answer to Paulinity or Christianity. Well, thanks so much for watching. I love doing it. Let me know how you heard these messages. And I hope to see you real soon again. Don't forget that tomorrow on Sunday, I am open to have a 30-minute conversation with you if you want to. And on August 8th, on Friday, 2025, the door closes towards the group course that you can step into now with a silver or golden membership so that you can truly work in the direction of your true twin flame union. That'll stay with you eternally. Love to see you there. Love from Petra.